Okay, folks, buckle up because we're diving into the shadowy world of spyware, specifically a particularly nasty piece of work called Pegasus. Imagine this, your phone, the one you use for everything from banking to gossiping with your grandma, is compromised. Every text, every call, every photo, every location, all siphoned off to some unknown entity. That's Pegasus in a nutshell. Developed by the Israeli firm NSO Group, Pegasus is marketed as a tool for governments to combat terrorism and crime. But here's the catch. It's been used to target journalists, activists, politicians, basically anyone deemed a threat, real or perceived, by the powers that be. So, how does this digital boogeyman actually work? How does it go from being lines of code to a full-blown privacy nightmare residing on your phone? Let's break it down. Here's the really scary part. Pegasus can infect your phone without you even knowing it. We're not talking about clicking on a dodgy link or downloading a suspicious app here. This is what's known as a zero-click attack, and it's about as subtle as a brick to the face, except you never see the brick coming. Think of your phone like a house. Typically, to install something, you need to open the door, right? But Pegasus is like that creepy neighbor who has a set of your keys. It can just waltz right in, unpack its bags of spyware, and make itself at home without you ever being the wiser. This is possible because Pegasus exploits vulnerabilities or weaknesses in your phone's software. The truly terrifying aspect of zero-click attacks is the lack of any user interaction. Pegasus can simply slip in through these software vulnerabilities completely undetected. So how does Pegasus find these cracks in the first place? Well, it's all about exploiting vulnerabilities, those pesky little flaws that exist in every piece of software ever created. Think of it like this. Your phone's operating system, whether it's iOS or Android, is like a giant complex piece of machinery. And just like any machine, it's bound to have a few loose screws or faulty wires here and there. These flaws can be anything from a coding error to a design oversight, and they're often unknown to the average user, and sometimes even the software developers themselves. But to hackers and spyware developers, these vulnerabilities are like gold. Pegasus's creators, NSO Group, are experts at finding and exploiting these vulnerabilities. Once they find a vulnerability, they develop a piece of code, an exploit, that takes advantage of it. Let's say a government wants to target a journalist who's been critical of its policies. Here's how a typical Pegasus attack might go down. Step 1, the targeting phase. The government provides NSO Group with the journalist's phone number, essentially putting a digital bullseye on their back. Step 2, weaponizing the exploit. NSO Group selects an appropriate exploit from its arsenal, one that targets a vulnerability in the journalist's phone's operating system. This could be a zero-click exploit, meaning no interaction from the journalist is needed. Step 3, delivering the payload. The exploit is delivered to the journalist's phone, often disguised as a harmless text message, email, or even a missed call. Step 4, the silent infection. Once delivered, the exploit automatically triggers, leveraging the vulnerability to install Pegasus onto the phone. Section 5, Unmasking Pegasus, a look at its powerful features. So, once Pegasus has wormed its way onto your phone, what can it actually do? Well, in the words of every Bond villain ever, so much. This isn't just some amateur-hour spyware, we're talking military-grade surveillance tech here. Pegasus turns your phone into a digital open book. It can read your text messages and emails, even encrypted ones, listen to and record your phone calls, track your location in real time, access your contacts list, call logs, and browsing history. Turn on your camera and microphone, effectively turning your phone into a listening device. Download files from your phone, including photos, videos, and documents. Basically anything you do on your phone, Pegasus can see and record. Section 6. Spying on journalists and activists, real-world examples of Pegasus at work. Now, you might be thinking, okay John, this all sounds very Big Brother, but surely they're not using this on regular people, right? Oh, my sweet summer child. Pegasus has been linked to some truly chilling cases of espionage against journalists, activists, and even government officials. Take the case of Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi Arabian journalist who was brutally murdered in 2018. Forensic analysis of his fiance's phone revealed traces of Pegasus, suggesting that the spyware was used to track his movements and communications in the lead-up to his death. Then there's the case of several Indian journalists and activists who were targeted with Pegasus in 2019. The spyware was reportedly used to monitor their communications and track their movements, raising serious concerns about press freedom and government overreach in the country. And it's not just authoritarian regimes that are using Pegasus. Section 7. The chilling reach of Pegasus, targeting governments and dissidents. Hold on to your hats, folks, because it gets even more unsettling. Pegasus isn't just being used to spy on journalists and activists. It's also become a tool for governments to target each other and silence dissent within their own borders. In 2021, a massive investigation by a consortium of international media organizations revealed that Pegasus had been used to target the phones of over 50,000 people worldwide. The list of alleged targets included heads of state, government officials, human rights lawyers, and business executives. The investigation, dubbed the Pegasus Project, sent shockwaves across the globe, exposing the widespread use of spyware and raising serious concerns about the erosion of privacy and freedom of expression. It became abundantly clear that Pegasus wasn't just a tool for fighting terrorism, it was being used to stifle dissent, silence critics, and consolidate power. Section 8. The erosion of privacy, Pegasus, and the future of surveillance. So where does this leave us? Pegasus is a chilling example of how technology can be used to erode our privacy and silence dissent. It's a stark reminder that in the digital age, the walls are constantly closing in, and our most private moments are just a few lines of code away from being exposed. The widespread use of Pegasus raises serious questions about the future of surveillance and the very nature of privacy in the 21st century. What is clear is that the Pegasus scandal is a wake-up call. Section 9. Fighting back. Measures to protect yourself from Pegasus. Alright, enough doom and gloom. The good news is that there are steps you can take to protect yourself from Pegasus and other spyware. Think of it as digital self-defense, and trust me, it's just as important as locking your front door. First and foremost, keep your phone updated. Software updates often include security patches that address known vulnerabilities. Think of these updates like security guards for your phone, patching up those cracks that Pegasus loves to exploit. Next up, be wary of suspicious links and attachments. If you receive a message from an unknown sender, or even a known sender with an out-of-character message, don't click on any links or open any attachments. Another crucial step is to use strong, unique passwords for all your accounts, especially your email and social media, and enable two-factor authentication whenever possible. Section 10. The need for accountability, holding Pegasus and its users accountable. Protecting ourselves is important, but it's only one part of the equation. We also need to hold those responsible for Pegasus accountable. That means holding NSO Group, the company that created this digital monster, responsible for its actions. It means demanding transparency from governments that use Pegasus and other spyware to target their own citizens. And it means pushing for strong international regulations to prevent the abuse of these powerful surveillance tools. The fight against Pegasus is about more than just protecting our phones. It's about protecting our fundamental rights to privacy, freedom of expression, and a free and open internet. The Pegasus Project was a crucial first step in exposing the dangers of spyware, but it's just the beginning. Section 11. A call for change, rethinking security and privacy in the age of Pegasus. Pegasus has exposed a fundamental truth of our digital age. The tools we rely on every day can be turned against us in an instant. It's a sobering reminder that the price of technological advancement shouldn't be the erosion of our fundamental rights. We need a fundamental rethink of how we approach security and privacy in the 21st century. Governments need to be held accountable for their use of spyware, with strong oversight and transparency mechanisms in place. Tech companies, including those like NSO Group, must be held responsible for the tools they create and the hands those tools fall into. And we, the users, need to be more aware of the risks, more vigilant in protecting our data, and more vocal in demanding change. Pegasus is a wake-up call, a stark reminder that the fight for our digital rights is far from over.